thought maybe I'd have a tear or two, but I didn't at all.
I know you didn't.
Just a normal Kiwi bloke who's, you know, playing for the All Blacks.
The PM said, oh, Lydia is a Kiwi, so you can't take her.
And then when we beat them by 8 seconds, I was just like, right, where are you?
I'd never leave, even if it was for millions and millions of dollars.
Deaker.
I've been waiting to do this interview for probably 3 years. You've avoided me like the plague, as if there's something wrong with the old fella. Congratulations, you bring a lot of excitement to my life. And you do that to a lot of other people too. And most importantly, you're an Otago person through and through, even though you're living in Christchurch now. Did you get a buzz out of the Ranfurter Shield?
Yeah, huge buzz. It was obviously, you know, growing up, watching a lot of the Shield challenges and that, falling so close. You know, on many occasions to see the boys lift Shield the other day was obviously, well, I felt very proud, even though I guess, you know, had nothing to do with the rugby side of it.
Only lasted 9 days, but it didn't matter.
9 great days by the sounds of things.
Yeah,
I spoke to my brother the other day. He said it was the city was flying, so that's great. You were, in some people's minds, almost an All Black. They were saying you could have been one. Did you get in the South Island secondary school side ahead of Dan Carter at first 5/8? Yeah, I certainly was never going to be an All Black. Like, rugby, for me, I really enjoyed rugby. I thought, you know, I love the camaraderie that goes with the sport and obviously the tough challenges and physical challenges it puts on you as well. But look, my talents were certainly never in rugby, and those guys who may have picked that team certainly might have got that one wrong. But
you did get ahead of Dan.
Only for a very brief game, I think it was.
Well, you know, it was huge in your life, sport. I recall your dad, Stu, playing for Otago because he was so small was one of the reasons, and he could give the ball a belt as well. How big in your family? How big at the school you went to?
Yeah, well, he is very small. He's getting smaller as well. He's going to give me a serve for that later on. But look, cricket for me, growing up, obviously, in Otago with Dad playing for Otago as well. Both my brother and I were constantly around the Otago team and around, you know, Dad's mates as well, and learnt a lot about what cricket means to, I guess, our family, but also you know, the sport, how great the sport is as well, and similar to rugby, I guess, the camaraderie that goes with it.
See, the other thing that I'm so proud of you about is that you went to King's High, and it was always the blokes up the hill at Otago boys that had the big bats and everything, flash and everything. But you followed a lot of players who played a little bit like you. Keith Campbell was a guy who could smack the ball all over the place. And you look back for a school on the mudflats, it's produced some damn good cricketers. Yeah, and it's starting to really, I guess, gain some momentum as well as a school. I think the current rector down there is doing a brilliant job, and they got some great personnel involved too. So hopefully, we continue to see our old school continue to develop on I guess a bigger scale. Well, let's get into the Champions League, because that's what you're just about off to there, and hopefully Otago will do well at it. When I look at your side you're taking away, it's the improvements that have been made, and probably no one more so than Nathan. Yeah, I think we've got a really good team. Last year they did. Well, I wasn't able to play last year with New Zealand commitments, but the guys won every game in the T20 competition, and obviously, you know, thoroughly deserved to carry that title. And boys left today. I'm going to join them in a couple of days as well over in Sri Lanka for a camp prior to our tilt at the Champions League. But I know everyone's excited. We've got some homegrown talent down there as well, and people who obviously thrive on representing Otago, which is great. Well, Nathan, as a cricketer, he's developed a lot, hasn't he? Yeah, absolutely. He's a very, very good cricketer, I think. In the shorter version of the game, his impact at international level has been brilliant. You know, I think he obviously brings his bowling and his batting, but I think he's most dominant in the field, and he makes such a big impact to our team when he's playing well. Yeah, and he gets a buzz out of it too. You know, he's somebody who plays with the enthusiasm that obviously you guys always have had for the game. Yeah, he's certainly got that enthusiasm. His character is one of I guess, fighting qualities, and you know, obviously I know him
incredibly well, but I think a lot of the guys within the team as well, certainly they look around when times are tough and look at someone like Nathan as well, and know that he's going to, well, if in doubt, he's going to take the aggressive option, which is great.
And we see other players improving. Like the last time you went away to a Champions Trophy, I would suggest that Hamish Rutherford, Champions League, Hamish Rutherford wouldn't be half the player he is now. Look at him.
Yeah.
Like he could win. He'll win you games. This guy.
He's flying, yeah. But I think Rudd's development in the last 12 months or 18 months has been, well, it's been insane, really. He's, that innings against England that kick-started his international career was one that everyone that was at the ground sort of witnessed and saw how classy this guy is, and he's got a huge future in this game, and not just for New Zealand but around the world as well. And he had a good stint over in the UK just recently, and I'm sure he would have learned a lot from that, so looking forward to seeing how he goes in the Champions League as well.
And you've got other guys, like he's a homegrown product, and for a long time, incidentally, I claimed him for Kings High because his father went there. And of course he went up the hill.
I can't believe he was allowed to go up the hill, to be honest.
Cannot believe that was even allowed. Now then you've got guys that come in from outside, and I think that Wagner epitomises the spirit that you believe a team should have.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of the guys that you'd have bowling for your life if you had to ever have that situation. I think his, I guess, well, the skills that he's brought to the New Zealand team as well, and the qualities that he possesses has certainly helped out some of the younger bowlers too. And I think his ability to bowl long spells and keep running in and bowling quicker almost at the end of the day than what he is at the start is qualities that will certainly serve him well. So it's obviously good to have him involved as well.
Yeah, well, you're always trying to build a certain culture in a team, and I guess that's what team sport is all about. So tell me, as captain of a side, what's the environment that you want, and what's your mission?
I think, firstly, it's got to be created by many people rather than just one person's idea. I think, you know, the leaders within our group and the people who are obviously trying to sell the vision of the group have settled on wanting to be a part of something special, and I think we've got some excellent players in our country and guys who can certainly dominate for periods on the international stage. It's a matter of trying to get that more consistently, and what we're trying to create in the team at the moment is a culture where you want to play for your mates and you want to achieve something really special during the time that you've got in a New Zealand jumper, and it's not long, so we want to ensure that we make it a memorable one, and we also encourage people to develop in their lives as well as cricketers as well. So
yeah,
hopefully it's an environment which is progressing, and we're starting to get where we want to get to.
There was a lot of shots then of fielding and catching, and I look back at what Stumper Rickson did when he was coach. One of the things that he established was good spirit in that team by making sure it fielded well. And fielding is a thing that you do collectively. Yeah. The rest of the game you probably play individually. But fielding is something that everybody's involved in, and it helps build that culture, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's one thing you can control as well, I think. Obviously, batting and bowling, you're going to have your days out and you're going to have days where things don't go quite so well, but I think your fielding shows your attitude and shows your willingness to participate and to get in the contest for your mates, and that's something that we pride ourselves on as a team. We're fortunate we've got some outstanding fielders, and like some Martin Guptill and those sorts of boys are brilliant fielders. So you know, that certainly helps, but that's something that we try and continue to uphold as well, is that we are going to be a very, very good fielding team who wears our heart on our sleeve when we're out in the field.
And as captain, you're going to have to inspire people. So both in Otago and hopefully in New Zealand, we're going to have a player that, well, he attracts even more attention than you do. So Jesse Ryder going to Otago, you knew about it, you knew everything that was involved even before he got down there. What are you going to try and do with Ryder? Do you treat him specially?
I think you treat everyone specially. You obviously try and get to know the person, and then assist in working out what makes them tick and how the environment's going to help them, and then they obviously reciprocate.
Well, you know
by
what makes him tick now, Brendon, because you've opened the batting with him. You know this guy well. So in your mind, you've already sorted out how you're going to assist him. I was going to say handle him, but I think it's the wrong term, but how you're going to assist him. How are you going to do that?
Well, I think, look, it's up to Jess really. I think it's a huge move for him to have made the move down to Otago and to be a part of a culture which is small in its it's caring and it's dynamic as well. And I think he's going to have to move with that culture too. But he's certainly shown the first signs of it by making the move down and making that commitment to the team. And I know that he's excited by it. I did have a small hand in it, but not a great one. It was more down to Jess and his people that wanted to make the move. How am I going to help Jess? Just try and provide him with as much support as possible and understand that Jess is going to make mistakes at times.
Yeah.
But look, he is not just a rare talent, but he's also a bloody good bloke too. And he's had his challenges, but he's still got a lot of years left in this game and a lot of opportunity to really make it worthwhile as a cricketer, and then also what follows cricket as well, and that's the development of him as a human being too. So I'm excited for Jess, I think. Obviously excited from a Otago point of view, but also excited from a New Zealand point of view as well.
You spoke about captaincy in your book, and in fact there's a piece that I want to quote back to you that you said at the time. You were talking about the future of New Zealand cricket. It's not just wanting to play for New Zealand either. That's not longer good enough for me. I want to play really well. I want to win tournaments, the World Cup. Why not? Another goal I have is to be at the forefront of New Zealand, changing the style of cricket they play. Without wanting to sound too critical, too often we play a boring style, particularly in Test cricket, and it hasn't got us anywhere. Now, the important thing is that this is before all the shenanigans took place over the whole thing to do with Ross as captain and then not being captain and everything. That's in your book before all of that happened. Showed how much you were also wanting to be the captain. Let's look at it. The style of cricket for a start. How are you going to play it?
I guess that's the thing when you write books, isn't it? It's in black and white. I think first and foremost, to me, it was never just about being a captain. It's about being a leader in the team and being a part of a period of when you're getting your opportunity to play for New Zealand, of actually making a difference and making an impact. And that's what I was alluding to in that piece in the book. Is you can turn up and you can play for New Zealand and walk away at the end of it saying, look, I've represented my country and had some good days, had some bad days, or you can do your absolute best during the time that you've got to make those days.
Well, here's a good day when you made a key move. You remember this well. You brought on Kane Williamson.
Yeah, Kane was chipping away at me to have a bowl. So, I guess at a situation like this, we'd exhausted so many of our resources, tried our best, and sometimes you just got to take a bit of a punt on the back of the hard work that you've done. And the way the guys responded with the catching and that game is symbolic of a team that was trying to do its absolute best to win that game. And amazing how good things can go if you do have your heart in the right place there as well.
So it's to do with hearts, it's to do with talent, but it's to do with getting guys to perform perhaps in a way that they don't even believe they're capable of doing that.
Yeah, look, certainly it's not me that's getting these guys to do that. Our guys are incredibly passionate about playing cricket for New Zealand, and whilst we may cop some criticism along the way.
Does that hurt you?
Yeah, it does. Some of it's warranted. When we don't perform well, the criticism is warranted. I guess the thing is that we're a team that isn't going to win every game, but as long as we are trending in the right direction, as I keep saying in the media as well, we're progressing, and we can look at that objectively, then sort of we can say that we're starting to get there. And
does criticism bring the best out in Brendon McCullum?
No, I don't think criticism does. No, I've learnt to deal with criticism over the last decade or so.
Understandably, I've heard some of it. Yeah. Some of it is absolute rubbish. Some of it I think you deserve from time to time. But we all deserve a bit of a... And people, let's face it, Brendon, if they stop giving you their opinion, it means they're going to be playing softball.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Or tennis is going to go on a boom. Yeah. The fact that there are so many people in this country that love cricket, that's one of the reasons why they're into it. And you are somebody who they're fascinated by.
Yeah, I'd completely agree. I think I've said to my family and that, who sometimes suffer the criticism worse, it hurts them more than what it hurts me, that look, in a couple of years no one's going to say a word about me. So we just got to ride it out, knowing that I'm trying to do my best that I can while I've got the opportunity to play for New Zealand. the fact that you've got to take a bit of criticism along the way is part and parcel of that.
And just before we leave this topic, you had a run-in with a guy who also loves New Zealand cricket, and you decided, righto, we're going to sort that out. It was the John Parker affair. You'd had enough, hadn't you? And you basically put the line in the sand. Yeah,
I had. Yeah, I'd sat dormant for quite a while and let things play out. But I guess, I think what unfolded was not quite right, and sort of made a stand against that. And that's one of the things that I hold pretty close to my heart as well, is integrity and honesty and trust. When that's when those things are a question, then that hurts. But look, I've moved on from that now, and we've agreed.
Are you good at moving on? See, I come from the same environment as you, and I've got to say to you straight, I'm not good at moving on. I bear grudges, and I hold them for a while, and I let them fester, and I've only learnt late in life to let them go. And I suspect strongly, looking at you, that you bear the odd grudge, and you'll hold them, and you'll think, stuff so-and-so.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I forget, but
no.
I'm happy to forgive at times.
Well, let's have a look at what is happening, because one of the exciting things about New Zealand cricket at the moment is the bowling attack. And we've got a young bowling attack, and one day Trent will be on, the next day Southee will be on, and you've got guys to call on, haven't you?
Yeah, and they're really starting to perform at a world-class level, and I think they bounce off each other as well. I think Wagner's been a huge addition to both Tim and Trent's skill set as well, and there's times where they achieve stuff which they probably didn't think that they could achieve as well, and during that England series at home was one of those occasions where we saw them at their absolute best, and even when they were tired and they were broken, they just kept finding more. So very, very excited about our bowling lineup, and we're also strong leaders within the group as well for young guys, so that's encouraging too.
And we were one wicket away from beating the Poms in a series.
Yeah, it was.
And when you look at what's happened to the Aussies in the Ashes series since, what a win that would have been.
Yeah, it would have been an amazing win, and that's obviously the dream that we painted at the start of the series, is how we're going to get the result we wanted, and there was times where we were in front of the game and we put the hammer down, but to me the most pleasing aspect was when we were behind the game at times and we found a way to claw ourselves back into the game, and that's the sort of traits which I think if we can develop, then we're going to give ourselves more opportunities in Test cricket.
This is an interesting aspect. Your ODI average is higher than your Test average, and you want to be a good Test player. Where are you going to bat? Is it going to be in the middle of the order? Have you made a decision now?
Not a numbers man, but I think it's the other way around.
Do you?
Yeah. Look, from my point of view, I just do whatever the team requires, and look, in my earlier stages in my career, I may have been probably too bullish and wanting to stand up and take on responsibilities that weren't perhaps suited to my game or to my style.
Where are you? In number 6 then?
Yeah, batting 6 in the one days, 6 in the tests, and batting 3 in the T20. And look, it's where the team requires me to bat at the moment. Ideally, we'd like to bat high, but that's that doesn't necessarily suit either my style or the team's best interests. But we've got a healthy mix amongst our team at the moment, and I think we're starting to get some familiarity around our style of play as well, which is nice and encouraging.
Is your biggest regret in cricket the fact that you can't wicket keep anymore, or not in tests anyway?
Yeah, I sort of let go. It's initially it was hard, and I got criticised for wanting to pick and choose the times that I wicket kept, and it was really nothing to do with it. It was just that I've had operation on one knee. I've got another average knee and a slightly dodgy back, which I've managed to handle throughout a career and not miss too many games. But something had to give, and unfortunately, keeping in Test cricket was the thing. And I've always said if I can't make the team as a batter, then so be it. But that's what I'm going to have to try and do. And it is disappointing not keeping, but I've kind of let go of that.
I think you've done pretty well with this criticism thing, because one of the aspects would be this. They were criticising you for not wicket keeping, and your back was just about stuffed, and you had to shut your mouth because it wouldn't, and then they were saying you weren't fit. Now, my understanding from people who have watched you carefully and have played with you is that you're probably the fittest in the side, that you take a lot of pride in it. So there are times when you have let the criticism just flow by. You've probably got to still do that. You're always going to be somebody where that's going to happen, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. I think the kind of rocks the diamonds nature of my style of play as well is probably opens the door a little bit more to that kind of criticism as well. It's but look, that's just part and parcel. I think from my point of view, the fitness aspect, to me, look, I can get fitter. I understand that. I used to be one of the fittest guys in the team, but now there's these young fellas who come up and are incredibly fit and strong.
Yeah.
But I guess the good thing, well, the thing that I pride myself on is I've missed a handful of games over a 12-year career so far. So I've managed to still be able to operate, at a level which has created some longevity, which is good.